I've helped grow 14 YouTube channels from tiny to over 100,000 subscribers. Channels like the Golden Kobe family, Christian Peverelli, and Yatster are some channels that have grown to over 100,000 subscribers just last year. And it wasn't because they were more talented than you or worked harder or spent more money. So today, I want to share some of these lessons with you so that you can grow your channel faster than ever before. And it all starts with this question. If you would have a pie and that pie is 100%, how much of that pie would you spend on coming up with the idea for your video? I can almost guarantee that it's not enough. And let me explain why. When it comes to YouTube, the idea is the first domino that needs to fall to have a viral video or a video that gets 100,000 views or 200,000 or 300,000. And a lot of beginner creators that I've talked to over the years as a YouTube strategist tell me that they don't spend more than an hour a week on their idea. Now, if you're really serious about growing a YouTube channel faster than ever before, you need to focus way more of your time on ideation. The idea is literally what can save a somewhat badly edited video from getting 5 views versus 500,000. The other way around doesn't work. You can have a masterpiece of an edit with the greatest animations and the greatest music, but if no one wants to click it because the idea is not interesting to them, you're gonna lose out on a lot of views. In all these years of being a YouTube strategist, I'll be completely honest, I think beginners should focus 60% of their time on coming up with the idea. And the reason why is this. If you focus more of your time on the idea, you will get better on finding better ideas for YouTube videos over time. And that is exactly what you want. If you can come up with an idea that people are really interested in, they will click. And if the edit is bad, but it's not atrocious and they can still hear you fine and the whole story is still interesting, then it will probably survive and do pretty well. So one of the skills that you want to get really good at early on in your YouTube career is ideation. Coming up with YouTube ideas, validating on YouTube itself, figuring out, hey, has my idea been done before, or at least some type of remix of my idea, and how good did it do? The best proof that you have on a great idea or not is prior proof on the platform. A lot of beginners spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure this out, but I guarantee you it gets easier over time. Because I do ideation so much, because I work with 10 plus channels every single week, I've kind of developed this gut feeling about, hey, this is a good idea, this is not a good idea, because I have all these outlier videos, so videos that massively outperform the subscriber count in my head. They just kind of live in this area right here. So over time, you will get way better at this and it will cost you less time. But in the beginning, you should focus, again, 60% of your time on just coming up with ideas. If you have 100 ideas that you came up with, like title ideas and different concepts in a week, how big is the chance that you will have a viral video in there compared to if you do 10 ideas per week? Exactly. YouTube is a game of odds, and this is one of those odds that you can influence by sheer time and dedication. Now, if you're unsure if your next video idea is a good idea for your channel or not, I actually made this super simple free decision framework that you can use. And the only thing you need to do is scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description and I'll give it to you for free. Now, next, I want to discuss something that many beginner YouTubers get wrong. And honestly, it is hurting your chances of growing your channel way faster in a serious way. There is one thing that all successful channels tend to have in common. And when I say successful channels, I mean some of the channels that I work on and other channels out there that grow really fast. And that is that they don't try to reinvent the wheel. Once you have found a video that did like 50,000 views on your 500 subscriber channel, that is a signal. And the signal is, think about the bat signal in the sky, but now replace it with text, and that signal says, make this video again. Now, of course, I don't mean make the exact same video again. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you should probably do a video that is very, very closely related to that outlier idea. A lot of beginner YouTubers think that every video has to be this original idea and has to be something completely different. Well, let me tell you, that is not the truth. If I look at the channels that I work with that we've grown really fast over all these years, and some of the biggest creators on YouTube that I work with, we tend to stay in the formats, the video ideas that have worked before. If you want to have a safe bet of growth, and you want to have a safe bet that a video will do well, you want to make sure that for your viewer, you become predictable. Predictability is something that viewers love. Think about it this way. If you would go to a McDonald's tomorrow and all of a sudden their whole menu changed and it's all Asian food and you came there because you craved a hamburger, there's a chance that if that happens 2 or 3 times, you will not go back to McDonald's. And the same thing happens when you are a tiny channel and you find that one breakout idea, you want to stick to that menu. You want to stick to that format idea. You want to stick to that topic. This will help you be predictable for your viewers and they will enjoy your videos by coming back. And if there's one thing that the YouTube algorithm loves, it is seeing that returning viewers choose to click on your videos time and time again. That will dramatically increase your chances of your video being shown to new viewers that have similar, viewing behavior as your returning viewer base. By making videos that are closely related to each other, intended for the same type of viewer, you build a machine that kind of starts feeding itself. You have a returning viewer base that gets bigger and bigger, and therefore YouTube has more confidence to pull you in front of similar viewers. Don't forget, YouTube cares about one thing, and that is viewer satisfaction. Do your videos help keeping those viewers on the platform longer? Because ultimately, that's all that YouTube cares about. The longer a viewer is on the platform, the more ads they'll see, the more session time there will be, and the better it is for YouTube. So you want to make sure that you help that machine instead of work against it. Because if you work against it, chances are that your impressions will fall flat pretty fast, and you ask yourself, am I really going to be a good YouTuber? I don't know. Now, there's another part to this that a lot of beginner creators on YouTube forget, and that is the power of end screens. Well, let me tell you what I mean by that. If you build this machine of returning viewers that watch your new videos every time because they like the content that you make, because it's closely related, you want to make sure that you also think about, how do I funnel these viewers into my other video? Now, the best way to do that is, of course, through end screens. Let's say you make a new video and your last video was a great watch for that same viewer as well. Instead of thinking about how do I outro my video and saying like, okay, thank you for watching today, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stop doing that. Don't do that. That is exit language. That means to viewers like, oh, the video's done, I'm gonna click off and click on something else. What you want to do instead is help that viewer go from this video that you made to the prior video that you made. And instead of thinking about how do I write an outro, you want to start thinking about how do I write an intro in the outro for my older video. It gets kind of confusing when I say it like that, but I promise it's not. Instead of thinking about how do I ask people to subscribe, you want to start thinking about how do I get them to that other video. So sometimes if you make educational content or tutorials or whatever, you might have a problem that still exists at the end of that video as a viewer. What you want to do is make them aware of that problem and then tell them, if you click this video on the screen right now, I will also help you fix that. Now, if it's an entertainment video, sometimes that gets a little bit murkier, but I also really think it is really helpful there. If you made a video where you stayed overnight in the worst rated campground in the US, and your older video is like you tried to survive on Buc-ee's gear, you could say something like, okay, this was not fun at all, but I think it's still better than the last time when I tried to survive on only Buc-ee's camping gear, because that was absolutely atrocious. You should watch it. Click here. This way, you kind of re-engage the viewer to be like, hey, that video might also interest me, so I'm gonna click it. Therefore, higher viewer satisfaction. You just had one viewer watch 2 videos. So do not underestimate your end screens. They can be a big part of why that machine of growth will start running faster. Now, another thing that beginner creators tend to overthink is something that is completely YouTube's fault. Well, actually, it's because of YouTube Studio. Now, let me explain. If you're a beginner creator, you probably have seen YouTube Studio, right? The back end of your channel where you can see how many impressions you got and how many views you got. Well, there are a few glaring issues with YouTube Studio that tend to steer beginners towards the wrong path. And it's not only YouTube's fault, it is also the fault of a lot of the gurus here on YouTube that tell you how to grow a YouTube channel and they have no receipts of, different channels that they've worked on. And this is something also where some of these tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy can kind of lead you astray. Let me explain. If you have a new channel and you don't really have a core fan base yet, there are metrics in YouTube Studio that are completely irrelevant and that you should ignore. And the most important two of those are CTR, aka click-through rate, and AVD, average view duration. Now, let me tell you why. If you have a new channel, YouTube doesn't know who your content is for yet. So YouTube might test with a, bucket of viewers and none of them are really interested. Maybe out of the 100 that they test with, maybe 2 click. Now your CTR is 2%. According to whatever you learned here on YouTube or what you've read on Twitter or whatever, your CTR has to be at least 5% or 10%. Like, oh no, my packaging is bad. Like my title and thumbnail, I need to change everything. Stop. You don't. Listen to me, look me in the eyes, it's useless. This is why YouTube doesn't know who your returning viewer base is yet, because you don't have any yet. You might have 10, 20, 30 people that watch your prior video, but that is too small of a sample size to even look at CTR and extract a meaningful pattern from it or a meaningful decision that you should make. The thing is, I don't look at CTR and AVD unless we have at least a returning viewer base of around like 5,000 people. If we know that normally within the first 24 hours after uploading a video, between 1,000 and 5,000 people watch it when it's an average video, then I look at CTR in those first 24 hours after upload, because it tells me one thing: are returning viewers, do they like this title and thumbnail? Because if they don't, our CTR will be lower than average, what it is on average. Now this completely changes within niches, it completely changes within topics. CTR in itself, you cannot say like, oh, in gaming you should have X% CTR. It is nonsense. Whoever told you that, do not watch their videos again, do not read their newsletter, do not do whatever, wherever you found it, don't listen to them, okay? The thing with CTR is this: your video, when it does really well, goes out to a broader and broader potential audience. Meaning that if you made a video about how to change a tire, there is a chance that if it gets over 50,000 views and YouTube still sees a lot of strong viewer satisfaction signals, that it will go out to people who don't necessarily want to change their tire right now. So naturally, the more impressions you get, the lower the CTR will be. Now it will stabilize probably around a certain point, but this is all nonsense data that you shouldn't look at. I work on channels every single week that get 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, 500 million views a month, and the only moment I look at CTR is in the first 12 to 24 hours. Because again, it tells me what the returning viewers, so the people who have watched us before, think about our packaging and our idea. Now, after those returning viewers have mostly watched the video, CTR and also AVD become just wildly inaccurate and not something you should focus on. I'm just trying to be honest with you and shoot straight here, because it is so easy to fall in the trap where you think those metrics mean something to you when you might have a returning viewer base of 50 people. That sample size is just too small. Now, what is still a relevant thing to look at, even if you get maybe 500 views in a video, is your retention chart, because that tells you where did people kind of click off and why. What you should do is look at that retention chart, like let's say a week after uploading a video, and really study like where did people drop off and try to come up with reasons why they dropped off. Maybe you should have cut a little dead air part out where you just kind of rambled, or maybe, you gave the conclusion of the video too early. There can be 1,000 reasons why, but the more you study this, if you do this like 7 days after every upload you publish, you will get better at understanding like, hey, if I do this next time, let's see what happens if I, delete that part, or if I don't do an outro, or if I do my end screen, like, does it help keep viewers on the video? Always look at your retention charts, because that tells you how viewers watch your video. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate it one more time. CTR and AVD are useless, especially for new beginner channels. If you implement these lessons that I just gave you in this video, I guarantee you that your chances of your channel growing faster improves dramatically. And this is all a part of my ideal framework, the framework that I've developed over the past few years to grow YouTube channels faster. If you want to become a full-time YouTuber this year, there are still a few key things that you're probably missing. And I talk about those things a little bit more in this video right here. See you there.